Hey y'all, and welcome to How to Stay at Home Ec with Jenae. Today I am sitting at my kitchen table, and I was just getting ready to, give some flowers a little bit of love. I went to Central Market today, and I got some pretties, and I'm a big fan of fresh cut flowers. I think that, I've worked a lot, I worked this past year in a greenhouse, and I absolutely loved it. But when it comes right down to it, fresh cut flowers are just one of my favorite things. And so I've got a couple of ways that I show love to the spaces in my house using fresh cut flowers. One of them is by taking a single rose. So we'll talk a little bit about flowers today. And then we're also going to talk just a little bit about menu planning because I realized I skipped a really big step yesterday. And so this is kind of like a loving on your space and a little bit of a continuation from yesterday because I feel like there was a big old part of menu planning that I just kind of glossed over. So first thing is flowers. Very easy to love on flowers and to give them a space in your home and to get the fresh breath that comes from walking into a space that has fresh cut flowers. So I have taken a single rose that I thought was very gorgeous, and I have taken, this is actually a plastic wine glass with some water in it, and I just set it right down in. So I took my handy dandy clippers. You can use kitchen scissors if that's what you have. And this goes on my coffee table. And it has like the greatest color when you look down on it from above, but when you see it from across the room, it's just kind of like a lovely fresh, like that kind of white with pink tips sort of a situation. Is just a very fresh thing to set your eyes on. And it really always catches my gaze when I walk into my into our living space. I see it sitting in the center of the table, and it just looks, it just looks like it's honored in that place. I think there might be just a little bit too much water. I'm going to pour it in here. And I do shine these glasses, the ones that I use for flowers, just because, a clean glass makes for a clear view of your beautiful flowers. So, fresh cut flowers in your home. Why would you spend money on fresh cut flowers if they're just going to die? Well, I would say that you spend money on fresh cut flowers because really, if you give them a little bit of care, they can last a few weeks, but also there's something that's very, I would say breathy, but also something that's very luxurious about having fresh cut flowers in your space. I think they do add to the air that you breathe. I think that they definitely signify that you've put thought into your space, and I love that. The walking into a space and knowing that someone has taken the time to kind of match flowers to your situation it's a pretty great feeling. Even if you're walking into someone else's house, I think that it feels very warming and welcoming when you notice that there are details that have not gone unnoticed by the person who lives in the house that you're visiting. So you can really put flowers in any glass, or really anything. I guess it doesn't have to be glass. This is a wine bottle. Jeremy and I took a wine tasting class, a virtual wine tasting class a couple of weeks ago, and this was one of the bottles, and I just absolutely loved it. And the lady said, oh, well, I use that on our dinner table, and I fill it with water and chill the water. And I was like, oh, that's a great idea. But I'm not entertaining right now, and so I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to use it for our Lover's Roses. I don't always have these, but my kitchen is in feng shui, my lover's space, and so I will commonly put 2 roses in our kitchen to signify that and to honor that. And today you'll notice I chose 2 different colored roses. Commonly they're the same color, but I think sometimes it's good in a signifying sort of way to know that even though 2 people are different, that perhaps, you know, when they're thrust together, that something beautiful comes out of it. So sometimes I get different colored roses. And they smell really good today. The lady at the store actually helped me pick them out. And she told me like the names of the colors and stuff like that. It was really cute. I was grateful to her for taking the time for that. Okay. And then last but not least, these guys. So these are some of my favorite flowers. It looks like they're called Alstroemeria. The other ones that I have are roses. I also love irises. And I really like anything that has a bit of a shelf life. But, you know, sometimes you want things, even if they're not going to last a very long time, it's nice to have them even for a couple of days. Right now I like things that last for a long time because I don't buy flowers very often. I had a set of these beautiful flowers that I've had for probably, I just threw away, I think I had for 3 weeks. And that's something. For fresh cut flowers, that's amazing. And that's one of the things that these are known for. And they're just full. If you'll notice, like this batch has like a white sort of passion-y flower situation. So I think that you can definitely honor your space and your home with beautiful fresh cut flowers. Try it out. You don't have to try like, you know, many fresh cut flowers. You can just try out one. You'll notice that I am clipping the ends of, even if I didn't need to remove the stems at all. One of the reasons why when you go into a store and a fresh cut flower, your fresh cut flowers will have such long stems is because they actually do want to be cut, recut, fresh cut, so that they can go into the water and you know, get all the nutrients that they need. You cut them on the bias. So you'll notice it's at an angle. I cut them at an angle. And then I take off all the lower leaves. So you don't want anything that's going to touch water at all. You just want the stem to be the only thing that touches the water. That and the least leaves that you have, the more nutrients and water will get to the blooms. So you don't want it putting a lot of energy into lower leaves when that's really not why you have fresh cut flowers. You usually want to be able to see those glowing blooms for as long as possible. And so taking off the lower leaves, lower stems will keep your flowers for longer. Now some people say if you would like to keep your flowers nice for a long time, then you can go in every day and clip them down just a little bit. Re-clip the ends of these and put them back in fresh water, and that will make them last longer. I don't do that every day. I do it probably maybe twice a week. And if they don't last that long, then I don't do it that long. You know, I will notice that maybe the water is getting low, or I will notice that maybe the ends are looking a little bit, what's the word, like kind of mushy looking, and I will go, okay, well, you know, maybe it needs a little extra trim, a little love on the ends of these flowers. And you'll notice I'm actually cutting them again, 1, because the vase that I have is a little bit lower, and 2, because as soon as you clip, you want to put straight into water. That's the rule. So you'll notice with these guys, they're kind of falling out, which is kind of pretty, but not quite what I was going for. So I'm going to cut them again, and that means I'm going to rip off more leaves near the bottom. So this actually takes a little bit of time, to the point where sometimes if I'm in a hurry, I don't get fresh cut flowers because I know that when I get home, I'm not going to want to take care of it. I'm a little bit sad later on because, like I said, fresh cut flowers make me feel really present in my home. And I love now that you can go into stores like, even Target has a little flower display where you can actually, so I'm going to take about 2 more inches off, maybe 3. Even Target, you can get flowers now. So I love that places are adding the option for fresh cut flowers, even in like departments and stores and things, because it's nice to be able to walk in, grab some flowers along with your groceries, especially right now when you don't want to go to a lot of places. It's really nice to be able to, one-stop shop in that way. So these ones I actually got from Central Market. I've had some pretty good luck with Tom Thumb in the past to get some of these, actually even these types of fresh cut flowers that are this brand or whatever. So yeah, this is my fresh cut flower situation. And you can kind of tweak it a little bit. You can move the flowers around. You can separate them. Sometimes I will go out and pick some of the sides of our shrubs and add a little bit of greenery to the top because, it looks nice and full when you do that. Not to mention that you can actually buy greenery and it's not super expensive. It's maybe like $5, but you buy greenery and it's like, I don't know whose bushes they pick those off of, but a lot of times they're from like, they're the same things that are growing in our front beds or, like along sidewalks and things. So if I want a little bit of extra greens, commonly I will get those from, our outdoor space or even trees. Some tree leaves are really pretty. We don't have a whole lot of maples around here, but we've got some trees out here that bloom sometimes, but the leaves are always really pretty and almost waxy looking. I've got some hollies in the front. We've got crepe myrtles out along the road. And so some of that just looks pretty. Also, sometimes I will take, and this one I broke, but sometimes if I'm like feeling really creative, I will take some of the rose stems and I will actually stick them in the arrangements so that they kind of stick up a little bit, almost like sticks coming out, and it really adds, like, especially when they're kind of purpley like this and then there's these pink flowers, it adds a really nice flavor and texture to what I've already got going on. And around Halloween it's really fun to do that too, because Morticia on the Addams Family always clipped her roses. So there was every Halloween I will get a bouquet of roses and clip the roses. Now I keep the roses, but I will keep the sticky bits and use those as their own arrangement. So it's kind of fun to be able to do that. And especially when roses come and they're, this long, if you keep roses, even this height, and you put them in like a low vase, you've still got like this much stick to kind of, play around with. So, you know what? I think that's good. I think that's enough. Try having some fresh cut flowers in your house. Maybe try not spending a lot of money on your fresh cut flowers. Commonly, if you're getting your flowers from like a smaller department store and they have a fresh cut flower option, many times they don't have single roses like this, but don't be afraid to get like one of the bouquets of maybe seasonal color arrangements, like one of the kind of cheaper ones that they have for maybe $5.99 or $9.99, and then take little bits and pieces out of it and make multiple arrangements out of that one arrangement. So say, say you've got an arrangement that's a very summery one and it's got maybe 1 or 2 sunflowers in it, and then it's got a couple of roses, and then like some baby's breath, like some really small flowers, and some maybe some greens, and a couple of, I don't know, like carnations. Gotta love a carnation, love the smell. They've got a great scent and they last a really long time. So let's say that you've got that and you wanted to kind of arrange those flowers in multiples, small multiples. You can take a rose and do something similar to this with a low wine glass or a taller wine glass that has a stem on it. Maybe put it by your makeup, where you put on your makeup, so that you kind of see that every morning when you go to get ready. If at a time you're hosting someone to come and stay in your home, it is the most beautiful thing to walk into a guest room and have fresh cut flowers in that space. To have, like I said, to know that someone took an idea and put that much thought into how comfortable you were going to be, even if it's just like a couple of, I don't even know, dandelions or something, the idea of walking into a room that has been prepared for you, your guests will see your appreciation of them in your space that much more. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be something small like this. It can be recycling, so taking an old bottle and maybe putting a single stem in it. Maybe not even a flower. Like I said, maybe some greens from a shrub that's at the base of your apartment stairs. Or, maybe you take one of those sunflowers from a bouquet that you have and stick it inside the top of a wine bottle. Like that sounds super cheery to me. I wish I would have thought of it while I was at the store. But so you can make multiple of your own arrangements with a couple of minutes and a couple of random sort of container situations that you have laying around your house. And then just, see what happens. See if your eyes meet them. And when your eyes meet those flowers in your space, notice how you feel. And if you like it, maybe you'll do it a little bit more often. And, if you don't notice it and that isn't meaningful to you, then you'll find something else that's equally as meaningful. But I hope that you'll try just maybe the next time when you go out and venture, maybe getting some groceries, or maybe you need to get some supplies for your home, or maybe you go to work and you're on your way home and you pass by even like a local florist or your local department store, and you know that they have fresh cut flowers, or maybe you go in at like midnight on a night because you want to get yourself a tub of ice cream. If places around you are open until midnight, you want to get a tub of ice cream and you see some roses on your way out, grab them, see what happens. Maybe cutting them to different lengths and putting them in different glasses and distributing them around your house, so that when you come upon them, you know that you thought that you would enjoy that. So I hope that for you today. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you for joining me today on How to Stay at Home Ec, and we'll talk menu planning more on the next episode.